Hey everybody, it is Coach Shell. I am here for you. Let me just maximize this. Okay, here we go. So I just want to do another Q&A today to give you some tips and tricks based on what I've been telling people individually, just things that I know, things that I hear about when I'm listening to my podcasts, things I read about. I just want to say this to everyone so that everyone gets the same information because sometimes I forget who I tell it to. With over 32 clients checking in every single day, it's very easy for me to forget who I said what to. So these kinds of video talks kind of wrap things up for everybody. So some of them you're going to be new to you. Some of them are not going to be new. As I always say, I sound like a broken record because there really is nothing magical about losing weight that you probably haven't heard or know already. So sometimes it's just that reminder. So when I'm being a broken record, that's just me reminding you because I forget things too. I'm in a certain routine and then I get out of it and then I kind of forget about it and then I get back to it. Like for instance, I was taking Metamucil every day when I was in Florida. So in January, February, probably about December, and really liking it. It was a great way to get my fiber in and it kind of tastes tangy in my water. So I liked it. And then for some reason, when I got back, I got out of it. So I'm back into it again, putting it into my water. So it's kind of an easy way to get extra fiber in and just make sure it's a sugar-free kind that you get. And I just get the package, but you can also get a big container. You don't have to do that. There's also, I have it in the cupboard. I forget to use it all the time. It's called PGX. It's another fiber supplement that has no flavor whatsoever. So these kinds of things just help you hit your 20 grams of fiber. Speaking of water, the best way to get your water in is to pick a water bottle that you love. I'm on this one right now and it's 32 ounces. So I know I need to get at least two in every day to get my 2 liters. And anything I do over and above that, I know is just a bonus. So if I have some tea, if I have extra water, if I have another water bottle or something, I know I'm going to be hitting my 3 liters, which is kind of nice. But I always have it on the go. It's always there, so it's really easy for me to get it in. I'm not slurping it down at night. I like my water room temperature. I've talked about this before, but just a reminder, figure out how to get the water in. You can add BCAAs to it. You can go to the grocery store and add vitamin C packets. Anything to get it in and done. You might like it cold. I'm the person that the restaurant always says, hold the ice on the water. The only time I like cold water is when it's really hot out, which it is not. So I like mine room temperature. So figure out how to get it in and done. Water is life. Water makes your skin look better because you're more hydrated. It gives you more energy, helps you lose weight. But overall, your health is dependent on water. So it's really important that you get it in and done. So that's the first little bit. Second little bit, I noticed in a few people's journals recently that they are eating over 45 grams of carbs in a meal. I should make that your max. I always say for most people, 100 max per day. Everyone has different macros, but for most people and most women, they're trying to lose weight, 100 max per day, but try not to go over 45 in a meal. Because what happens is it does spike your insulin and makes you hungry if you have too many carbs in one meal, especially if you're having them by themselves, which I've talked about before. So just watch that if you are tracking your macros, which most of you are, that you're not going over 45 grams in any one meal. I find that sometimes with those pancakes like I had yesterday and shared from Flourish, if you have berries and things, it's going over that. And I find I do get hungrier like more quickly. So yesterday I added more fiber into the pancake mix to help slow that down. So that's a good trick. The more fiber that's in there, in those carbs, then the more apt you are going to slow it down. Just really pay attention to that and try not to have more than 45 grams of carbs total in one meal. Late night eating, we talk about fasting 2 hours before. So just remember, sometimes it just works out that way. Sometimes, like it's a Friday night and I have supper out with friends at 8 o'clock. It's no big deal. Your body can't tell time. But just what it does mean is that your body's going to look like it's up the next day in weight, but it's not truly. It just takes longer to digest your food because you ate later. So if I'm finished, I always find if I'm dinner and done by 6 p.m., my weight's down the next morning. And if I'm not, it's 8. my weight might be up a little bit or stay the same, but that means probably if I didn't eat for 2 hours and then check my weight, it'd be back down. So it's not a big deal at all. It's going to sort itself out, but it's just good to remember. And the other thing about that too is if you weigh yourself earlier in the morning than normal days, your weight may look up because you haven't given it that amount of time to digest your food. So that's why sometimes people always say, "Oh, I seem to lose weight on the weekends." You don't truly always lose weight on the weekends, but what it means is that maybe you're getting up at 6 a.m. on through the week, and on Saturday and Sunday you get up at 8, so your body's had 2 more hours to digest the food. So if you are weighing in early and you didn't go to bed till late, your body just needs more time. So you want to keep that in mind if you are weighing in early and then you weighing in later. It makes complete sense, but most people don't know that. So just think about that when you've last had your food, your body needs so many hours to digest the food or drinks. And so if you get up early because you're going to a class and you weigh in before your class because I've told you to do that rather than after, then that's all that it means, is that you weighed in earlier, and that's why your weight looks a little bit up. And then when you weigh in later, it looks a little bit down, but it's totally fine. Just try to weigh in at the same time if you can, and then it doesn't really matter if it should be up or down a couple pounds. It's going to be relatively, you can compare apples to apples basically. Remember, nutrition is key, and I talk about this a lot, but it's super important because people still are trying to outrun or outtrain a bad diet by doing double workouts. As I said before, broken record, what I would recommend for people is one workout a day max, and then one walk, or you could have one yoga in there, because yoga is not going to be working you in the same way. If you do 2 workouts a day, ideally they're both cardio, but you definitely don't need that. And you definitely should not do 2 strength workouts in a day, because if, say, I'm doing a leg workout at 6:30, 6:45, I'm doing a hard leg workout, but then I know at 7:30 I'm staying for spin class. What happens is I either slack a little more at 6:45 because I know spin class is coming, or I push myself hard in the first class and then I can't really push myself hard in the second class because I'm burnt out from the first class. 35-minute classes are all you need if you're pushing yourself. You do not need to do hour classes. You do not need to do more classes. You're best to get your movement and your steps in along with your workouts rather than adding another workout. Because it's not necessary. If you're pushing yourself hard a 35-minute class, you're good. And then if you have time, get out walking, do some yoga for recovery. Those things will help you. But the other things, whenever you do a workout, like a HIIT workout or strength workout, you're putting stress on your body. So you got to remember, if I'm putting extra stress on my body, that's not good for weight loss. So stress is never good for weight loss for obvious reasons. So you don't want to push yourself too hard. Use that 30, 35 minutes in the one workout to give her, and then do recovery things. Do walking, because walking doesn't cause stress on your body. It actually causes the opposite, cause you to reduce stress. Yoga doesn't cause stress in your body unless it's power yoga. If it's like restorative yoga or something like that, or slow flow, those kinds of things are just nice for your body, and they're like showing your body love. They're not stress. So those things can be added in if you're looking for something else to do. So try to stay away from those double workouts and focus on your step count. And in terms of strength, I've talked about this many times before, but ideally you're doing 2 to 3 strength workouts a week. You can work your way up to it, and then 1 to 2 sweaty HIIT workouts a week. So if you're walking every day and doing great, but you're like, I need more, that's when you need to add in your strength and your HIIT, or one or the other, and just keep adding. But you don't have to do it all at once. Like I said yesterday in my post, start trying to think about it as all or nothing. Think about it as all or something. So you want to start where you are. If one workout a week is all you can do and the rest walking, great. And then when you've got that one down, you can add 2. When you got your 2 down, you add 3, and then get up to your 4. You don't have to go crazy. I don't work out 7 days a week. Well, sometimes I do. I did actually this past week, but a lot of times on Saturday or Sunday, I will take the day off and just go for a long walk with the dog and my hubby, instead of strength training, because you don't actually grow your muscles on the days when you work out. You grow your muscles on the days when you're not doing strength training. That's when you're recovering and building. So if you never ever recover, you're never ever going to build that muscle. So super important just to really watch you're not overdoing it, because it's not going to help you with your weight loss journey and your health journey also, which is more important. If you're someone who feels like you're tied to your desk some days and not getting your steps in, what I would do is set your alarm, especially if you're working from home, but even if you're at an office, as long as you don't look too crazy, set your alarm for every hour on the hour and do something for 1 to 5 minutes. Walk around the office, take the long way to go to the bathroom or your home, or go outside at home and get some fresh air and do some high knees and butt kicks. Drop down, do some push-ups, do planks. Just move your body, get your steps in. So planks, obviously you do plank steps, you're not getting any steps in, but just move your body, and you're actually going to feel good when you go back to your desk, whether it's at the office or at home, that you've got your movement in, and you just feel better because you've got away from your computer. So it's going to help you with your job, and it's going to help you mentally, and then physically you're like, oh, that's great. I'm going home and I've already got my 8K steps in, or whatever your goal is. Really try hard to do your prep. If you're a busy person, everyone's like, well, everyone's busy. Sunday and Wednesday, Sunday prep for Sunday to Wednesday. Think about, okay, what I'm going to have for breakfasts, get a few packed, plan out your meals. I've showed this before, but I just wanted to remind people. So I plan out my meals just on this cute little thing. I probably got it off Amazon. I don't remember. Actually, I think I probably stole it from Beth, but that's another story. So you just have that, and you plug in what you know. If you don't know, you don't know, and you just put to be determined. But it's nice plugging in what you do know. It helps you with your grocery list. It helps you with planning the rest of your meals. I just find it's really good. I know I'm going to be out on Saturday night, so I know I'm going to be eating high protein, low carb, low fat that day, aka buff, to prepare. So I'm not sure what I'm doing on Saturday night. So I got in what I got in. Thursday night I'm going out with the girls. So Glenn has sausages in the fridge, which he'll have, which are very high fat. I'm going to have a factor meal, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. So I already have that in, so I know, which is kind of nice. It kind of takes away me going, what am I going to have for dinner? And also takes away you making bad choices, because you're doing that last minute, and they're like, mommy, what's for dinner? And you just give them whatever. Remember, as I said in the one post, you want your children to eat well. You don't want to say, I'm going to eat this way because I'm on a diet, but everyone else can eat crap in my house. You want your children to eat well. If your child's in a sport, if your child's at school, eating well is going to make them a better student. Eating well is going to make them better at their chosen sport, piano, music, like anything musical, dancing, whatever it is. So really teaching your children now to eat well is going to serve them so well, not only with school, their chosen sport, musical instrument, dance, whatever it is, but it's going to help them later, because they're not going to have those. Oh, I have to go get my battery saver. Give me 1 sec. They're not going to have those issues when they get older, because you've taught them how to be a good eater. So don't make it about mommy trying to lose weight. Mommy is on a health kick. Join me on this health kick. Or make delicious food together. Give me 1 sec. As I said in a post, you don't want to be getting your kids used to going through the drive-through, or you don't want to be rewarding your children with, oh, you had a good day, let's go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac, or let's have a cookie. All of you who reward yourself when you've had a good day or bad day with food, you probably got that from your parents and your grandparents. So try to break that cycle, that that's not how we reward ourselves. We reward ourselves with time with mommy and daddy, going out for a hike, just celebrating the achievement. Food is a way to celebrate. We just want to make sure it's not crappy food. So we celebrate by making homemade pizzas tonight. Perfect. We celebrate by making protein balls, which are very good. Things like that. Kids want to spend time with you. And then you showing them how to cook well and fueling yourself well, you're being a role model to them. So try to get out of that trap of always celebrating by going through the drive through, because all you're doing with that child and yourself is making them have, and you, low energy, not feeling good, skin issues, all those things which you don't want them to have. You don't want your child, male or female, to grow up having weight issues. You want them to be feeling good, knowing how to fuel themselves and their family. And it's only going to make them stronger as a person. So let's try to get out of that habit and try to not say, mom's on a diet, so this is what she's doing. No, mom is trying to be a healthier version of her. She wants to have more energy. She wants to be able to play with you more. She wants to be able to join sports. She wants to be able to go to the gym. She wants to be able to live longer. Those are all really good things that your family is going to support for you. So if you can get your meal prep in Sunday and Wednesday, use my recipe collection, ask for ideas in the Facebook group. Instead of whipping through Starbucks and getting those egg bite muffins, which a few of you like to do, make those egg muffins at home. Going to be way better than those sous vide Starbucks egg bites, because I mean, there's nothing terrible about them, but you have to think they weren't made in house, which means they're made in another facility. They might have been sitting there for a while. And if they've been sitting there for a while, have you seen Starbucks? They just microwave stuff all the time. So they've been sitting there for a while. So they're not fresh. That means they have a lot of preservatives. So there's a lot of crap in them that you don't need. Why not spend some time on Sunday night and Wednesday night and make your own egg muffins? Then you're set for your snack or your breakfast. Make a overnight yogurt parfait and do a few at a time. Then you're set for your breakfast or your snack. Make extra supper so you have lunch leftovers. Then you're set with your lunch. Make it easy. Easy peasy. The people that are most successful are making it easy. And you don't need a ton of variety. They say the majority of people only eat 10 foods over and over. And I could probably tell you the ones that I like to eat. I eat relatively the same food all the time because I like that food. I might change up the berries. I might change up the veggie. But I like certain meats, like I'm sure you do. I love my yogurt. I love my cottage cheese. I love my Daryl's bars. I love my shakes. That's pretty much what I eat. And I like that. So try not to become a gourmet. Just try to make it easy. And then you can always change things up at supper. A lot of people are still going low on their fats. You really should not go low on fats. I cannot emphasize it enough. As a woman, 40 grams is still pretty darn low. So if you're going at 30 grams, you're going at 20, you're really too low. And it's so, so darn easy to add that in. If you're going low on your fats, and I know you didn't track as you went. So you're not telling me that, but I know that because if you tracked as you went and then looked before supper and saw that your fats were low and put in what you were going to eat and then saw your fats were low, what you would have done is add olive oil. 1 tablespoon is 14 grams. Or you would add a serving of cheese or half a serving of cheese or sprinkled cheese, whatever you needed. Those are easy things to add that just make your supper better. So really, really make sure. So anytime you're low, I know you haven't done that. I know you've tracked at the end of the day. And remember, you track at the end of the day. How are you possibly going to hit those targets? You're just not that good. Even for me, I could probably get it in for the most part if I was really being mindful when I was eating, going, okay, I've got my fats in, I've got but tracking makes sure. And no one in here is that good that they can track at the end of the day and hit their goals. They might hit protein because they know they need 25 to 30 grams, but sure and shoot, they are not going to hit their fiber, and they're not going to hit their fats unless they're really tracking. So spend that time. It doesn't take long. If you're packing your lunch and your breakfast the night before, plug it in, copy it, save it, make meals. The more you can play with your app, the easier things become. It's so, so important. If you're on the journal program, which some of you still are, just say, see yesterday if you're doing the exact same thing. And if I say, can I see your journal? It says, see yesterday. Then you're just like, oh, well, yesterday I had this. It's totally fine. Because you know what it is, and and you could see yesterday 1 protein, 1 carb, 1 fat, or whatever it is. Make it easy for yourself. If it's hard, it's because there's something you're not doing to make it easy. So it's really super duper important. A handful of nuts if you're really low If say you're at 900 calories and you were to get your protein, you have a handful of nuts. Usually they're about 250 calories. That's going to hit your calories. You do not want to go too low. You want to hit that range that I gave you and not go lower, and ideally not go higher. If you're like 20 grams higher, I'm not really going to get my knickers in a twitch over it, but try to stay in that range as much as you possibly can. And fiber too, it's really, really important you get that in for best digestion. If you listen to all of those famous fitness influencers, they're always going to say protein and fiber. That is what is holding true for, I would say, 80% of them, unless they're like a keto person. Well, they'll say fat for sure. They might not say fiber. But they do talk about fiber a lot because they talk about net carbs. But anyways, uh, protein and fiber. So, and then getting your healthy fats in, but like really super important. Um, really, if you focus on protein, fat, and healthy fiber, fiber. I was going to say healthy fats and fiber, not healthy fiber. All fiber is healthy. So it's, if you get all that in, things are going to work for you. So really make sure you get your fiber in. That also tells me if fiber is not in, that you didn't take that time before dinner to figure out how can I get my fiber in, because then it would be in. And if say you did and you're like, I had vegetables, remember those low carb veggies are awesome, great, low calorie. They're awesome for nutrition. They're awesome for filling you up, but they're not always awesome for fiber, because if you only have 3 grams of carbs, they're only going to have 1 or 2 grams of fiber. So you got to look at the beans, chickpeas, those kinds of things. Daryl's bars, the high fiber ones, chia seeds, flax seeds, adding those into your day to get that fiber in. So it's easy to get the 20 grams in. Now, there is such a thing for everything, is too much of a good thing. So if you find that, say, some people were getting 35, 45 grams of fiber in, if you find that all of a sudden you're feeling constipated, you might have to cut back on the fiber, which sounds silly, but it is true with a lot of things. It's too much of a good thing. So if you're just like, okay, I was going a little psycho with my fiber and I'm feeling constipated now, then cut back and try and go back that 20 to 30 gram range, and that's good. Same thing with protein. There's very few experts out there that have said that's too much of a good thing, but there is such a thing as there being too much protein that it doesn't help you anymore in terms of muscle building. So if I've asked you for over 100 grams and you're getting 100, 125 grams, and that's awesome and you're feeling good. But if you're getting over 140, 150, 160, and this is a big jump from what you were doing, and you start feeling you're having some belly issues, it might be because there's too much protein. Sometimes I find when I have steak, I don't digest that well because I think I don't chew it properly because I'm always doing something else when I'm eating, which is very bad, but it is what it is. So it could be also that you're getting too much in, or you're not chewing your food properly. You're not taking the time. And so with your chicken, with your steak, with those kinds of things, you're not chewing it. So take your time, chew it properly. And if you're finding that the scale's not moving, or you're feeling a little bit of digestion issues, bring that protein back a little bit and then up those fats, which is very easy to do. Tracking. When I went on Sunday, because I had some time, I went into a Lose It, because Lose It, I can really see people's journal really easily, one after the other, because it's got a connection. My Fitness Pal does not. I have to go to everybody separately. I went on Lose It, and I would have say, if I checked, say, I don't know, I'm trying to think of who's on Lose It. There's probably 20 people. I think it's more on Lose It than My Fitness Pal. Let's say 20 people, and I would say 13. It was 4 o'clock. At least 13 people had not put one thing in. As I said before, you can't do that and be successful. You have to track as you go, because how do you remember whether you had a half a cup of oatmeal or a whole cup for breakfast? How do you remember how much fruit you had? How do you remember how much fat you had? You've got to track as you go. You have not earned that right to track at night. You really, truly haven't. You've got to track as you go, because you're not going to be accurate. The only person or people, population people that maybe earn that right is maybe someone who's been doing this for a long time and they're at their ideal weight already. If you are not, those little extra things of you forgetting that you had this and you forgetting they had this or how much you had this, that could cost you 300 or 400 calories, and that could be why you're not losing weight. So number one thing is track before or as you go. adjust as needed. If say you're like, oh, I was going to say I had half a banana, I ate a whole banana. And then at supper, before you eat, take a look, plug in your supper before you eat because you know what you're cooking. And then you can see, oh, okay, I'm short on fats. I'm going to add my olive oil, like Shelly said. I'm going to melt some cheese on my asparagus. Oh, I'm short on my fiber. How can I mix in chia seed or flax seeds so I don't really taste it into something? Maybe it's going to be in as a spice on my chicken or something. Or can I have some Metamucil? Or can I have a higher carb, higher fiber food, but not in a large quantity, but enough to get the fiber in. So you've got to play with it. You've got that food list, and that food list that I made for you has the fiber beside it. So it says, say, 15:7. Or maybe you can have a bowl of fruit for dessert with a little bit of Greek yogurt on top and a little bit of fake syrup. And you're going to get your fiber in that way with the berries. So really pay attention to that. And the more you do, the more you're going to get it. And the more you have perfect days, save those perfect days down, save each of those meals, and then build from that perfect day, and then just make little substitutions, and it becomes easy. The people that are finding it easy are people that do this and people that plan out their day ahead of time or as they go at the very least, and then checking at supper. But when I looked at those journals, and like 13 out of 20 had not even had one thing in it. And those 7 that did, they pretty much had the entire day in. So they're the ones that are going to be the most successful because they're planning. Fail to plan, plan to fail. Super important. And like I said, copy from one day to the next, makes little substitutions. Try not to be too fancy. Plan ahead. If you're going out for dinner, someone was telling me they're going for dinner, I give them some options. Plug that dinner right into the app ahead of time, and then you can work backwards. It's not going to be perfect because you're out, but it's better than nothing. Or you just do high protein, low carb, low fat for the whole day. I might say, okay, if say your calorie allotment's 1300, I might say, okay, let's go for 800 calories, making sure you're hitting your protein before you go out. Stay low fat, low fiber, and then don't track that meal. But if you don't tell me that you're going out and you just tell me after the fact, I can't help you. I can say, well, next time, but really use me. And as I've said before too, if it is like, oh, I'm out for dinner now, we decided not to have XYZ, we're going for dinner, you can text me. And if I am free, I will text you back, because if you put something in the app at 6 p.m., I'm not necessarily checking the app all night long. I'm checking that app usually like first thing in the morning unless I have to teach, but I'm not going to be checking it till 10 p.m. at night. Sometimes I do. You guys are like, yeah, you do. Well, I try not to. But yeah, I do check sometimes if I'm watching TV. I'm like, oh, see if there's any questions or anything. But send me a text. You're going to be more apt to get that answer because I try not to work 15 hours a day for obvious reasons. It doesn't always work out that way. Okay, so tracking. Another thing is the stress thing. I keep seeing that over and over. Oh, I can't do this right now because I'm stressed. I'm not having you do anything more that's going to cause stress. Eating well is going to decrease stress. Drinking your water is going to decrease stress. Doing your workouts is going to decrease stress. Walking is going to decrease stress. So there is nothing that I'm giving you that's going to hurt you in this stressful time. No matter what it is, it's only going to help you. Taking care of yourself first and foremost is only going to help you with stress on your job, with marital stress, with a friend or family member who's sick. All of those things are going to be helped by what I'm telling you to do. I'm not telling you to do anything crazy that you shouldn't be doing in order to combat the stress in your life. So remember that. Do not turn to stress eating because it's not going to help you, as you know. And you're like, yeah, I know that, but I just still do it. Tell yourself, you have to tell me, and then even write some things down. What can I do if I'm stressed? I know if I eat donuts, it's not going to help me. And in turn, I'm not going to feel so good because I had a donut. And the stress is still going to be there. So what can I do? Can I go for a walk? Can I read a book? Can I have a bubble bath? If you have a hot tub, you could go sit in your hot tub. Go hang out with your girlfriend. Go shopping. Don't go crazy shopping, but shopping is helpful to stress therapy. Do write down some things you can do when you're stressed that don't involve food, because food is not there to comfort you. As I said, there's no such thing as comfort food. When you are sick, do not tell me that you have to have bread and crackers. I have been sick before. It's been a long time. Bread and crackers do not help you. What does help you is getting your protein in, getting your fiber in, getting your calories in. You will get better faster if you continue to eat in the same way. I know sometimes, like, yeah, but I don't feel like eating. I understand that. But then think, what can I eat that's going to be somewhat but not perfectly on plan? Soup is perfect for that. Shakes are perfect for that. Yogurt and cottage cheese, unless it's like something in your throat, like a cold of some sort, is perfect for that because it's nice and cool and not hard to eat. A protein bar is easy to eat. So unless you're vomiting, I understand that part. But if you're just plain old sick, not feeling good, try to keep your routine up because it's going to make you feel better. If you can't work out, that's no problem because it is all about nutrition mostly. If you can go for a walk, go for a walk. You move your body, make yourself feel better. Maybe do some yoga, whatever feels good. Or if you have to take a few days off from exercise, focus on your nutrition and get better. It's going to help you. Nothing stopping drinking your water, laying in bed with your head down is not going to help you unless it does. But get your water in, because I was just thinking probably would feel good to lay down. And yes, you can do that recovery. I sound like I'm a really mean person right now, but what I'm saying is try not to dwell in the sickness. Try to think about what you can do to get out of the sick, to stop being sick. Instead of feeding the I'm going to eat bread now, feeding the I'm going to have crackers now. Those things are just carbs and they're not going to help you feel better. So just really watch for that. It's really important that you do regular weigh-ins. I went through everyone's today to make sure. I don't see you. And as I've said before, weighing in, measuring yourself, and your pictures are the three ways that I know, and how you're feeling, like your schmeck. How you're feeling are the four ways I know how this program is working. So this way is your health, your schmeck, and just how you're feeling overall, just your overall well-being, that you're sleeping better, your skin's glowing, um, all of those things. Your energy is good, your mood is good, those kinds of things. So that's telling me that the program's working. That's one thing. Weighing in tells me that the program's working. So even if you weigh in and it's exactly the same, if you don't put in that it's exactly the same, I don't know that you're on a plateau. I just see that you haven't weighed in. So it's really important you're weighing in every day or every few days. And I know it causes people stress, but stop making that scale have any emotion. It's just a scale. So don't tie any emotion to it. It's like, I'm going to have a good day because the scale's down. I'm going to have a bad day because the scale is up. No, that has nothing to do with your day. Your worth is not tied to that scale at all. That scale is a measurement tool so I can see what you're doing is working. And if it is a true plateau, which I talked about plateaus last week, I don't know unless you're weighing in at the same weight. And I'm going to decide what I need to tweak. Do you need to have more water? Do you need to have more fats? Do you need to have more or less calories? Do you need to get your steps in more? Do you need to be more consistent? But I need to see that. Do you need to change something or do I need to change something if we're seeing the weight staying the same? Measurements once a week. This is all in your program every single weekend. Saturday or Sunday, do your measurements. Yeah, they might change a little bit, but that's what we want to see. We want to see that your measurements are going down, because if the weight stays the same, but your measurements are going down, that means you're losing fat and the scale just hasn't caught up yet. So it's really good for me to see that. So if I see you've lost a few inches, I know the scale is coming. But if I don't get a measurement, it's really hard. I can't go measure all of you in all of your homes all over Canada, because some people are not even in this, that are not even local. So you need to do that for me so I can see it. And those pics, don't stress those pics. They're just for me and you. I just truly have a look and just make sure you've got your pics in and I can compare it to 2 weeks ago. And same thing, if say the scale's only gone down a couple of pounds and your measurements have gone down a little bit, but I start seeing changes in your body and you start seeing change, like, oh, my face looks thinner. those things tell us that the program is working. But if you're not doing that, I don't know that the program is working. So it's super important. That is your job. You have paid good money for this coaching, but you can't tie my hands by not doing what I ask of you, which is measurements once a week, pictures every 2 weeks, and weigh in every few days. These things just take a few minutes out of your day. And if you pay good money, you have to put in the effort in order to see the results. And that's things that you need to do. So I need those. We talked about stress eating a minute ago. And one thing I didn't talk about is just the whole rewarding. So this is kind of similar to the next part, which is self-sabotage. But just be careful if you're down in weight, you don't reward yourself, because sometimes you're going to do this either consciously or subconsciously. You're like, oh, I lost a few pounds, so I think I'm going to have a cookie today. That is all stemmed from when you got a good grade on your math test when you were in grade 4 and your mommy gave you a cookie. We're not kids anymore. As a mom, as I've said already, careful you're not doing that, because you're going to create you in the future. Don't reward yourself with food, because then the skill's going to go up again and it's just going to be like, so try to reward yourself in other ways, just like how you're going to deal with stress in other ways other than food. You want to reward yourself, not with food. That's just an instant gratification. Then it's over. And then you're like, crap, I just ate 6 donuts. Now I'm going to be up in weight tomorrow. That was kind of silly. And I really don't feel good. I need to go to bed because I've had way too much sugar. Kind of silly when you think about it. And I know you're not having 6 donuts, but think about other ways you can reward yourself. Just keep trucking along. You can reward yourself by continuing to do what you were doing to lose the weight. That's what I would do. And just be like, yay me. I'm going to continue on this journey, because it's not just for weight loss, it's for health too. And I'm rocking it. So high five yourself. Tell someone who cares, which sounds funny, but I know it's hard in friend groups sometimes. Like, hey, I lost 10 pounds. They're like, yeah, so what? I hate you. Just joking, but some people do that. Tell me, I'll be excited for you. Tell your spouse. Hopefully your spouse will be excited for you. Tell your kids. And just kind of just be happy with yourself, and try not to reward with food or drinks or going out for dinner or whatever. So a bubble bath, time to yourself, however that looks. Getting out of the house, going shopping. I feel like I'm just adding shopping into everything. Now I'm going to give you a new problem. You're going to be a shopaholic and spend too much money. But you're going to be thin and healthy while you're shopping. Just broke. That's all. New problem. But anyways, think about things you can reward yourself with: going out for a great walk, or planning going out to a restaurant next Friday that you've always wanted to go to, but still staying on plan. But that is your reward. As I've said to someone who said they've always thought of events, like going to events about the food. They're like, oh, I wonder what they're going to serve. I wonder if we're going to have these apps. Ooh, I can't wait. And I said, the event is not about the food. Yes, food can be yummy, but the event is about the people that are there and the people you are spending time with, and not just about the food. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to go to this wedding, I can't wait to eat the food, you think, no, I want to go and celebrate the love between these people with my family and my friends, and get on the dance floor and rock my new dress that I bought, those kinds of things. And not just about the food at the event. And then, yeah, just that kind of thing. Or if you're going out to a new restaurant, yes, you want to enjoy the food, but who are you going with? Are you going with your spouse on a date night and reconnecting? You're going with friends you haven't seen in a while and reconnecting with them, finding about their family, their children. Let's not make it all about the food, make it about the event. So cooking reward. And then sometimes when you have that, that's truly could be self-sabotage. So sometimes people do this and don't even realize it. So say they have a great week and they've lost some weight, and then for some reason the weekend's a dumpster fire, and then their weight goes right back up again. Sometimes they're doing it on purpose, which sounds really weird, because you're like, why in the heck would I do that on purpose? It's because they don't want the program to work. Because if the program works, that means you are truly and utterly responsible for the weight gain that you have right now. And that's really hard to take because it's really easy to say, well, it's my age. So it's not my fault. It's my age's fault. And I can't control my age. Or it's really easy to say, it's my hormones. If you look at all the influences out there, they're only saying hormones and giving you this hormone program because they know it's going to sell, because people really want it to be their hormones. I'm not saying it's not your hormones, but usually it's not. Um, they want it to be their hormones because it gets them off the hook. It's not because I've been eating wrong for the last 5 years and I knew it. It's my hormones. It's not me. Or it could be they want to blame it on they're too busy. As I always tell you, I can always point out somebody, even in this group, busier than you, no matter how busy you are, because I don't take on a lot of people who aren't busy, because who's not busy? I've got people working 2 jobs in this group. I've got people working 12 hours a day, and then they've got 3 kids in sports and they're all over the place all the time. I've got grandmas that are babysitting their grandchildren and they've got responsibilities and they're volunteering and they're out doing this and that. People are busy. There's very few people out there that aren't busy. So don't use busy as an excuse. If you're busy, figure out a way to make this fit. So they'll say, so self-sabotage is when it's easier to blame it on something out of your control, because I have a 12-hour job, because I have a family who doesn't support me, because I'm getting older, because of my hormones, because of. Instead, use those excuses as reasons. I'm getting older, so I need to be much more careful with my protein as I age so that I don't slip and fall and have an injury from a fall because of my brittle bones. I am busy, so I need to fuel my body well so that I have really good energy to deal with my busy ass life. I have 4 kids, so I need to figure out my own food so that I'm a great role model to them and I have the energy to deal with all the things I need to do with them all day long. So if you use those reasons, those excuses, and make them reasons, it turns the table around and you'll stop self-sabotaging. So people will sabotage themselves because they really don't want this to work. They really don't want it to be about it eating well, drinking your water, and exercising. That's really not that sexy. They don't want it to be about that. They want to be about something else so they can continue just to ignore and continue to eat what they want, not exercise, not take care of their body, and just say, it's not me. It's my genetics. Thanks a lot, Mom, for what you've done for me. So just be very, very careful that you are not sabotaging your efforts, because sometimes you really even don't know that you are. Sometimes I point out to people, I'm like, I'm wondering if this is what you do. So try not to do that, because that's very important. You want it to be this, and it truly is. Eating well, and not just eating well, but eating well, getting high protein in, getting healthy fats in, fibrous carbs, drinking your water, being in a calorie deficit is going to help you to lose weight. Exercising, getting your steps in, walking daily or as much as you possibly can. Exercising, strength training, and HIIT a few times a week. Those are the magic pills that you are out there searching for. Do not get taken in by some hormone program. Do not get taken in by some special pill that's come out that's going to help you lose weight. Don't get taken in by a syringe, because they don't teach you how to lose weight and keep it off. I do. That is why I have you learn about macros. That is why I have you track online or on paper, because at the end of your program, and you may have to renew a few times, that's totally normal, but when you are the end with me, you know how to move forward on your own with Ozempic or whatever they're calling it, because a number of different brands. All you know is that when I take this syringe, I don't crave food anymore. So I lose weight and a lot of muscle too. And then when I'm off that, then guess what? I go back to craving all the food again, and I really don't know how to eat. I take this magic pill, and if for some reason it works, and then I stop taking it because A, it could be causing me health concerns, or I'd be losing more muscle, I'd be losing too much weight, still not feeling great, or it's too expensive. Then I'd come off of it. Then I'm like, oh, I really still don't know how to eat. So stop looking for these magic pills, syringes, whatever it is, and start realizing it and take the responsibility for it. It is eating well, drinking your water, moving your body, listening to your body, recovering when you need to, prioritizing sleep, all those healthy habits that you know already. There's nothing new in there. Doing those things consistently, and then knowing that it's not all or nothing, it's all or something. So if you have a great breakfast, a great lunch, and then you end up having pizza for dinner for whatever reason, you still had a good day because 2 out of 3 of your meals were good. It wasn't a perfect day, but it was a good day. If you drank all of your water, you got all your nutrition in, and then you just didn't get your steps in, it is not a fail of a day. It just means, shit, I didn't get my steps in. I'm going to try and get them in tomorrow. I feel better when I move my body. You missed your workout on Monday. Then do your workout on Tuesday. You don't have to work out 7 days a week in order to see progress. So give yourself patience, give yourself time, stress less, because stress, just think your stomach, you hold that stomach in right now. Stress keeps weight on. A stressed gut is not going to release the weight. It's not going to help you go to the bathroom. It's not going to make you feel good. So you need to be like, and relax and know that you are doing everything you can to be a healthier version of you, regardless of whether you lose 10 pounds in a month or 10 pounds in a year. It's going to come off and then it's going to stay off because you've learned and you have all the tools necessary to get there. And as I always say, once you get there, you can't be like, oh, well, I hit my goal weight. I'm at 140 pounds and I'm going to go back to what I was doing before. I'm going to quit the gym, stop drinking my water, not track anymore. See you later, Shell. Because guess what will happen? 2 months goes down, 3 months maybe. You gain all your weight back and then more. And guess what? You're like, hey, Shell, can I come back again? And we come back and we do the same thing again. So my job is to get you to a point where you don't need me anymore. You can always text me. Absolutely. Whether it's been 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years. I'm always there for you. But my job is to get you there so that you get to the weight you want to get at and you know how to stay there. So, in a perfect world, when I see you in 6 months, I see you in a year, 2 years, you are still relatively at the same weight. You're still feeling great. And you're still doing all the things, or mostly all the things, most of the time. That is what I want for you. And if you fall back, it is totally fine. I will always take you back. But I want you to think about it for the future. It's not just for 8 weeks. It's not just for 12. It's for life. And you have to think about it that. So if you only lose 3 pounds this month, and then you're in the 12-week program and you're down 10 pounds, maybe you wanted to lose more, but guess what? You did it in a sustainable way. And that means if you keep going, then if you use 3 pounds a month, then by the end of the year, you'd be down 36 pounds. And you'll be down 36 pounds in a very sustainable way, knowing how to go out and have wine with your girlfriends, knowing how to have pizza night with your family, knowing how to get right back on track after a crazy weekend of fun at a wedding or after you're away at an all-inclusive, knowing how to do all those things, knowing how to live your life. That's what you want in the end. So stop thinking that it's only about the scale and it's only about this 8 weeks or 12 weeks. This is about your whole entire life. The best way that you can age gracefully and feel good in your skin is to eat well, to move your body, to drink your water, all or something every single day.